the descent before the gift. There are very few who come to earth not to be healed, but to disrupt the system that wounded so many. These souls do not seek harmony, they were sent to dismantle illusions. And they carry no external badges of divinity, no golden aura, no peaceful smiles. Instead, they arrive broken, complex, misfit, and strange. These are the ones who walk with trembling hearts and heavy eyes because their mission is coated in contradiction. They are not here to escape the darkness, they are here to enter it willingly, consciously, and soberly. This is what it means to walk the dark chosen path. Not because you chose it, but because it chose you through lifetimes, through initiations, through burning everything you thought you were until only essence remained. The first sign is subtle. You begin to feel that your life is reversing. What once gave you comfort now feels suffocating. What used to inspire you now makes you ill. Old dreams collapse. Friendships evaporate. Roles you played proudly begin to feel like lies you no longer wish to rehearse. This is not a breakdown, it is a sacred reversal. It is your soul retracting its energy from the false grids you once thought were real. And it is terrifying. You are not ascending, you are descending, and it feels like failure. But it is not. It is a calling into the underworld of your own consciousness, and it signals the beginning of an ancient rite of passage that no one talks about. Why? Because most people are still trying to heal in order to be loved, accepted, safe. But the dark chosen ones are not here to be healed for comfort. They are here to be hollowed out for purpose. And that purpose is so vast, so wild, so transdimensional, that the ego must be undone completely before the gift can be revealed. If you are feeling this, do not run. You are not regressing. You are awakening in reverse. The disappearance of God and the collapse of light.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
At some point, every light chosen one will pray and feel heard. They will cry and be comforted. But the dark chosen ones, they pray and feel nothing. They cry and hear silence. This is not because God has left them, but because their consciousness is being severed from dependency on external divine validation. This is the second sign, the disappearance of God. You wake up one day and feel that all spiritual practices are void. The meditations don't work. The mantras fall flat. The angels don't respond. Even your body begins to feel foreign. The universe, which once seemed filled with synchronicities and love, becomes mute. And this is where most spiritual seekers turn back. They panic. They think they've lost their way. But in truth, they are standing at the threshold of pure awareness, the void beneath all illusions. This void is not empty. It is absolute presence, stripped of imagery, stripped of comfort. You are not abandoned by the divine. You are being forced to meet it inside yourself, not in signs, not in visions, but in the core of your own unadorned being. The collapse of external light is necessary because only then can your internal, sovereign light be remembered. This is why the dark path is a gift, because it births not faith, but gnosis not belief, but embodied knowing. A knowing so strong, it no longer seeks permission from the skies to act from truth. If you feel like God has left you, it's because the part of you that needed proof is dying. And what will rise in its place is not the child who prays, but the God who walks. Emotional isolation and the initiation of shadow sight. You may begin to notice that your ability to connect to people, especially those you once resonated with, has started to vanish. You feel like a ghost in your own life. You are surrounded but alone. You are spoken to but not heard. You are looked at but not seen. This is the third sign: emotional isolation and shadow sight. While it may look like depression, what is actually happening is a dimensional shift in your soul's bandwidth. You are no longer processing life through the lens of emotion alone. You are being tuned to the archetypal frequency beneath human behavior. You begin to see not just people's actions, but their subconscious wounds. You feel their rage before they speak. You sense betrayal before it manifests. And because of this, normal conversation becomes exhausting. You are seeing too much. Your eyes are not just reading facial expressions, they are scanning vibrational intent. This is a lonely gift, one that often makes you pull back, isolate, and even question your own sanity. But what is happening is that your shadow sight, the ability to see truth through distortion, is coming online. This is a weapon, not a wound. You are not meant to stay in isolation forever, but you must go through it to stabilize this new way of sensing reality. Only when you've adjusted to this new vision can you emerge and be of service. Not as a healer, but as a seer, a walker between illusions, unafraid to call things by their real name. If you're feeling more disconnected than ever before, you are not breaking. You are tuning into a frequency that few are built to handle: identity deconstruction and the fracturing of time. The fourth sign arrives like an earthquake, but it begins inside. You no longer recognize yourself. Your memories begin to feel distant. Your preferences shift violently. Sometimes, your reflection in the mirror feels like it belongs to someone else. This is not disassociation, it is the fracturing of time within your soul's multidimensional memory. Your current identity, name, career, culture, trauma is being deconstructed because it was only ever a placeholder. Your soul has played many roles, and the one you wear now is simply too small for what you are becoming. This deconstruction is painful because the ego does not go quietly. It screams, it clings, it bargains. But the dark chosen path does not negotiate with comfort, it devours it. Why? Because you are not here to decorate a personality, you are here to embody an archetype. You are not here to play your part, you are here to burn the script. And when that fire starts, you begin to feel memories from lives you cannot name. You begin to sense that you are not just this body. You are not even you. You are a node of cosmic intelligence wearing a skin suit that is now cracking open. You start to exist in waves, 1 foot in this world, 1 foot in something else. And eventually you stop asking, "Who am I?" and start listening to the silence beneath the question. That silence is the door. Through it, your next incarnation, still inside this same body, will begin. This is not reincarnation after death. This is reincarnation within life. And it is one of the highest gifts a soul can receive. The fifth sign, the calm before impact. The sudden stillness that feels supernatural. At first you might mistake it for apathy, then maybe peace. But the longer it lingers, the more unnerving it becomes. This is the fifth and final sign that the dark chosen path is calling you. A sudden and unexplainable inner stillness that arrives after storms of emotional chaos and identity collapse. This calm is not the result of healing, it is the space left behind after everything false has died. You wake up and feel strangely okay. Not joyful, not excited, just neutral, steady, like standing on a cliff with nothing left to lose. This stillness feels unnatural only because we've been conditioned to equate meaning with motion, purpose with struggle. But this quietness is not absence, it is the presence of presence. It is the eye of a cosmic storm that signals you've passed through initiation and now await activation. What's gone quiet is not your energy, but your need to justify it. This silence is sacred. It is not peace as a result. It is peace as a condition. If you are feeling this, if the chaos has stopped not because it's resolved, but because you no longer resonate with it, this is a clear sign. You are being repurposed. The architecture of becoming something unnameable. The stillness before impact is not passive. It is preparation. You are being rebuilt from blueprint to bone, not for survival, but for symbolism. The universe is now shaping you as an archetype, someone whose life will serve not just themselves, but as a living metaphor for others. And you don't get to choose how this shows up. You may be called to solitude, called to controversy, called to speak truths others are terrified of. Your gifts are no longer optional. They become inevitable. In this phase, you may begin to feel surges of clarity about things you've never studied. You might start speaking in patterns, dreaming in prophecies, attracting others who are on the verge of collapse themselves because your field has become a mirror, or a destabilizing mirror. One that doesn't reflect people's personas, but their repressed becoming. This is why those who walk the dark chosen path are often attacked, misjudged, silenced. Not because they are wrong, but because they are accurate. Too accurate. You become intolerable to illusions. And so the universe prepares you not with praise, but with fire. Not with comfort, but with capacity. This is the phase where you are no longer just a person, you become a presence. The return of God in a new form inside you. Remember when you felt the disappearance of God? The silence? The void? The unanswered prayers? Now something strange begins to happen. God returns, but not as a voice outside of you. God returns as your own voice. You begin to speak not from ego, not from emotion, but from a strange place inside you that feels too wise to be you. You begin to sense when to speak and when to remain silent without explanation. You start feeling compassion without effort, boundaries without defense, truth without the need to win. You no longer search for signs, you are one. You no longer seek divine instruction, you embody it. This isn't because you've reached enlightenment. It's because you've survived dismemberment. You've died to your former self. And now the divine has moved in not as a visitor, but as occupant. You are no longer praying for help. You are listening for assignments. This marks the turning point from dark chosen to dark ordained, the moment when the fire you endured becomes the fire you carry. Paragraph 4. The final gift, indestructibility of purpose. When you come this far on the dark chosen path, there is one final gift that arrives. You become unkillable in purpose. Not physically. You are still mortal. You still bleed. but your essence untouchable. The world can reject you, lovers can leave, status can fall, but your knowing remains. It is etched into your bones now. You could walk into a burning city and still see clearly. You could lose everything and still trust the path. You are no longer navigating reality, you are shaping it with your frequency. This is the greatest gift the dark chosen path offers, the irreversible embodiment of inner sovereignty. It cannot be given. It cannot be taught. It must be earned through descent, silence, loss, fire, and finally stillness. And now, with your calm, your fire, and your unshakable sense of truth, the question is no longer what will happen to me, but what am I meant to awaken in this world? Because that is what you are now. Not a seeker, not even a guide. You are a threshold, a place where other souls can cross if they dare. And they will know you not by what you say, but by what your very presence does to their illusion. Living as a dark ordained one, 5 spiritual powers you unlock after saying yes. Power 1, soul discernment. You see through people's masks without trying. Once you've walked the dark chosen path, once you've endured the initiations, collapsed identities, and returned to stillness, you no longer read people. You see them. Instantly. Without judgment, without interpretation. You become fluent in the silent language of energy, trauma, intent, and suppression. This is the first gift, soul discernment. It is not intuition. It is recognition. You can enter a room and feel who's carrying unspoken grief, who's lying to themselves, who's not who they pretend to be. This is not psychic ability, it is the byproduct of having excavated every mask within yourself. Because you no longer fear your own shadows, you're not blinded by other people's personas. You are not confused by charm. You are not swayed by charisma. You are anchored in vibration, and vibration never lies. This makes you dangerous to systems, to narcissists, to false light. Not because you attack them, but because you don't believe them. And belief is the only fuel they have. Your very presence becomes a threat not by intention, but by clarity. And this clarity becomes the first active force of your ordination. You unmask the world simply by standing still. Transmutational field, you shift energy by existing. The second gift is more mysterious and more misunderstood. It is your transmutational field. After you've survived enough pain, not by escaping it, but by metabolizing it, your energy field changes. You no longer hold light and dark in duality. You carry both simultaneously in fusion. And that fusion becomes alchemical. People begin to behave strangely around you. Some confess things they've never said out loud. Others lash out unexpectedly. Some feel euphoric, others triggered. Why? Because your field stirs their unresolved energies and begins transmuting them on contact. Not because you're trying, but because you've become a living cauldron of integration. You don't just listen, you transmute. You don't just witness, you unravel. This is not something you can turn off. It is not a healing gift in the traditional sense. It is frequency medicine. You become a disruption to denial, a balm to pain, and a recalibrator of stuck timelines. But it comes with a cost. Many will project onto you, because their ego will blame you for their own unraveling. But those who are ready will walk away from your presence changed forever, and often without knowing why. Divine indifference. You stop needing to be understood. The third power is not spectacular. It is not loud, but it is liberating beyond measure. It is divine indifference, the holy ability to walk through life without needing agreement, applause, understanding, or explanation. You stop justifying your choices. You stop arguing with projections. You stop seeking closure from people who never had the capacity to see you. This is not detachment from love. It is alignment with essence. You begin to feel the immovable pulse of your being, that which remains, regardless of others' perceptions. And this pulse anchors you. You are no longer interested in convincing. You are interested in embodying. You are no longer driven to rescue. You are compelled to resonate. Divine indifference is not the absence of feeling. It is the sovereignty of knowing your place in the cosmic architecture and refusing to shrink just to make others feel safe. It is walking through the marketplace of energies without being pulled in. It is loving deeply while letting go easily. And it is the reason you can now carry your light through hell without losing it. Invocation of the unseen. You speak and reality bends. The fourth gift is the one most feared by those who do not understand, the power of invocation. After you've walked the dark path, your voice changes. Not in tone, but in authority. You begin to speak from a place beneath the words. And when you do, things move. Energy rearranges. People remember. Blocks dissolve. Sometimes nature responds. Time shifts. You may notice it when you speak truth in a conversation and the air grows dense. Or when your presence pulls a person's buried pain to the surface with a single sentence. This is not manipulation. It is resonance meeting resistance and breaking it down. This is why the dark ordained must be tempered. Because if you speak from ego, you curse. If you speak from purity, you resurrect. Invocation is not casting spells. It is becoming a living incantation. Your story, your vibration, your wounds all merged into a field that calls reality into alignment. This is why your voice now stirs people. It is why even your silence unsettles. Because you're not influencing. You are summoning what has been dormant in others, calling it forward with frequency, not force.